The standings don't lie. The box scores don't either. I'm Pete Dwyer. This is the division line from the baseball nerd, and we're cutting through the noise to tell you exactly where this division stands and where it's going. The Rangers are hemorrhaging games at Globe Life Field. 4 straight losses to end the week, swept at home by Cincinnati, and suddenly this team that was supposed to contend is sitting at the bottom of the division with an 0-3 home record. Meanwhile, 2 time zones away in Sacramento, the Athletics and Astros combined for 22 runs in their Sunday slugfest, with Brent Rooker launching 2 home runs and a 12-10 thriller that went to extras. When the A's are putting up crooked numbers and the Rangers can't buy a run at home, you know this division is already serving up surprises. Houston leads the division at 6-4 after a wild week that saw them sweep Boston at home and then split a bizarre 4-game set with the Athletics, where they scored 28 runs in 2 games and allowed 23 in the other 2. The Angels sit second at 5-5, riding a 2-game win streak after that marathon 11-inning victory over Seattle on Sunday. Texas has dropped to third at 4-5, and that 4-game losing streak is doing real damage early in the season. Seattle's fourth at 4-6, losing 2 of 3 to the Angels after taking the Yankees series opener. The Athletics bring up the rear at 3-6, but that 12-10 Sunday win against Houston showed some offensive pop that wasn't expected from this rebuilding roster. The Rangers' home opener was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, Globe Life Field has become a house of horrors for this Rangers team. 3 games against Cincinnati, 3 losses, and a total of 6 runs scored. That is not a blueprint for success. The offense that was supposed to carry this team has completely disappeared when it mattered most. Corey Seager went 1 for 12 in the series with 6 strikeouts. Jake Berger managed just 3 for 11. Brandon Nimmo, who started the week hot with those 2 strong games in Baltimore, went 4 for 11 in the home series but couldn't drive in a run when they needed it most. The pitching has been a mixed bag. MacKenzie Gore threw 6 innings of 3-run ball on Friday night and struck out 9, but Chris Martin blew the save opportunity. Kumar Rocker lasted 5 innings on Saturday, allowing 2 runs that held up in a 2-zip loss where the offense managed only 4 hits. Jack Leiter was brilliant on Sunday, striking out 9 in 5 innings of run 1 ball, but Robert Garcia couldn't hold it in the 8th, and walking 2 batters before allowing the game-winning run to be driven in by Ellie De La Cruz. There are some positives to extract from this disaster. Danny Jansen has looked comfortable behind the plate and drove in 5 runs in that Baltimore series. The bullpen depth looks solid with Jacob Junis, Cole Winn, and Tyler Alexander all throwing effective innings. But those positives are getting drowned out by the failures in clutch situations. Skip Schumacher has got to be concerned about the offensive approach. This team struck out 47 times in 6 games this week. Corey Seager struck out 11 times. That's not sustainable for a team built around putting pressure on opposing pitchers. The road trip to Baltimore showed what this offense can do, scoring 13 runs and 2 wins. But Baltimore pitching isn't Cincinnati pitching, and the difference was stark. The schedule for the Rangers doesn't get easier. Seattle comes to town for 3 games starting tonight, and then it's off to Los Angeles to face the defending World Series champs, the Dodgers. This team needs to find its identity quickly because 4-5 can become 4-11 in a hurry if the bats don't wake up. For the Houston team, this week tells the story of a team that's still finding its footing, but showing flashes of the dominance we've come to expect. That 3-game sweep of Boston was vintage Astros baseball. Jose Altuve went 5 for 10 with 2 home runs in the first 2 games, looking every bit like the player who's terrorized the AL West pitching for over a decade. Lance McCullers Jr. threw 7 innings of 1-run ball in the opener, striking out 9 and looking completely healthy. The Athletics series was pure chaos. Christian Javier got shelled on Friday, lasting just 3 2/3 innings and allowing 6 earned runs. But Saturday's 11-zip demolition showed what this lineup can do when it gets rolling. Christian Walker drove in 4 runs, Yordan Alvarez walked 5 times, and the offense pounded out 18 hits. Sunday's 12-10 loss in extras was entertaining but concerning, with Brian Abreu taking the loss after allowing 2 runs in the 10th. For the Mariners, Seattle's week started with promise and ended in frustration. The series opening win against the Yankees showed exactly what this team can be when the pitching dominates. Luis Castillo threw 6 scoreless innings with 7 strikeouts, and the bullpen locked it down. But the offense managed just 2 runs, a recurring theme that bit them hard in the Angels series. The weekend in Anaheim was painful to watch. Brian Wu threw shutout innings on Saturday with 6 strikeouts, but the offense couldn't capitalize and they lost 1-0. Sunday's 8-7 loss in 11 innings was particularly brutal, with Cole Young's 3-run homer giving them a lead they couldn't hold. Randy Arozarena and Josh Naylor have provided some pop, but this lineup still lacks the consistency to support what looks like solid starting pitching. For the Angels, they split their week evenly, but showed resilience in clutch situations. The Thursday win over the Cubs built on Jose Soriano's 6 shutout and Logan O'Hoppy's 2-run single. The weekend series against Seattle was a grind, with all 3 games decided by 2 runs or fewer. Zach Neto continues to impress, going 5 for 16 with a home run and 4 RBIs in the Seattle series. Sunday's 8-7 victory in 11 innings required contributions throughout the lineup, with Adam Frazier collecting 3 hits and driving in the winning run. Mike Trout has been quiet offensively, but is drawing walks and working deep counts. The Athletics showed surprising fight this week, particularly in the Sunday thriller against Houston. Brent Rooker's 2-run home run performance drove in 6 runs and nearly single-handedly willed them to victory. Jeffrey Springs threw 6 strong innings on Friday in the 11-4 win, striking out 7 and allowing just 1 earned run. The offensive numbers are encouraging for a rebuilding team. Lawrence Butler drove in 5 runs in the Houston series, and Tyler Soderstrom has shown gap power. The pitching remains a work in progress, but there are flashes of competence that weren't expected from this roster. Looking at injuries, the Rangers took a significant hit on Sunday when Carter Baumler landed on the 15-day IL with a right intercostal strain. They recalled Luis Carvello from AAA to fill the roster spot. Cody Bradford remains on his rehab assignment with Round Rock as he works back from his spring training injury. Houston placed Hunter Brown on the 15-day IL retroactive to April 2nd with a right shoulder strain, a concerning development for their rotation depth. Christian Roa was recalled from Sugar Land. Isaac Paredes was placed on the bereavement list, and Shea Whitcomb getting the call up to replace him. The Angels made several moves, activating George Klassen while designating Joey Lucchesi for assignment. Seattle got J.P. Crawford back from the IL, and that will help their infield stability. As we look ahead to the week, Monday brings the week's marquee matchup when Seattle visits Texas for 3 games at Globe Life Field. Both teams need this series badly. The Rangers need to stop their 4-game slide, and the Mariners need to get back above 500. The weekend showcase series has Texas traveling to face the defending World Series champs, the Dodgers, a real test of where this Rangers team stands. Houston gets a breather with 3 games in Colorado before that crucial weekend series in Seattle. The Angels host Atlanta for 3 before heading to Cincinnati, and the Athletics get the toughest draw, facing the Yankees and Mets in consecutive series on the East Coast. That's the division line. Numbers, not feelings, every Monday. Get your full analytics and box scores at thebaseballnerd.com. Subscribe on Substack, and I'll see you next week.